Hey, what's up, YouTube? Here we go. I told you double upload today, and we're getting right into it with another Honkai Star Rail theory. This is X goes solo. Oh, yo, Solo's back! Yo! What up? What up? It's the Yap! Bro, it's the Yappy Yapper versus... It's only 10 minutes, though. But I'm gonna make this 10-minute, 30-minute video. Bro, you think you yap a lot. Man. But yeah. Yeah, let's see. I know he said to take a break, but I loved his Ting Yin video, and we're gonna watch this one.
Before 2.0 went live, and I'm here to propose it again, even though some people may call me crazy. I still think that Firefly is Sam, and there is so much more evidence in support of that now than what I had before that it is almost indisputable. The only people who are going to argue with me that Firefly is not Sam are people who have not been paying attention in the story, and people who want to be a contrarian for the sake.
She saw it.
For the sake of being a contrarian. So let's talk about it, but this time with a little bit more depth. So for those who are unaware, my initial theory on Firefly being Sam was based entirely in their color palette. Firefly and Sam both use the same four colors.
It's
green,
obvious.
Silver, black, and yellow. The average ratio of their colors was almost identical, even down to their fourth most used color being yellow. Then, as I looked into it more, I realized that in the scene in the White Knight 2.0 trailer, when Sam was flying at Acheron, he had a pair of glowing green wings that looked somewhat similar to that of an actual Firefly. And at the time, that's where I ended it, because I thought it was far too much of a coincidence. He's
right. It's true. Bro, you see that and you're not retarded? You're not like brain dead? That's obvious.
To not be intentional. However, speaking now, after the update dropped, it is way more on the nose than that. Upon closer inspection, that is in fact not a pair of wings, but rather is the exact same cape that Firefly is wearing. And it's not just somewhat similar, it is identical down to the streamers on the left and right side. And if I'm being honest, I don't think it gets much clearer than that, because yes, there are a lot of characters who look somewhat similar in one form or another, but there is not a single instance of it being as on the nose as that. Now, all of that is just design-wise, but another question I keep asking people is this: how can a self-proclaimed and fully confirmed stowaway be chronically ill and stuck inside of a cabin, yet somehow manage to travel all the way across the universe? The way that she describes her illness is that she is not in control of her body and is under strict medical procedures by doctors. And the reason she enjoys Penacony so much is because inside the dream world, she can actually be a functioning human. And that line would be fine if she was native to Penacony, but as I said, she's a stowaway, so how the hell did she get there? So here's my theory.
I mean, the answer is simple. Is that the icy medical cabin is Sam. It is the robot.
Firefly is Sam, and she wears that giant mech suit because it gives her the ability to actually function outside of the dream world.
And it's obvious. Sheesh, I might struggle to make this a long video, because like him, I thought most of this stuff was just common sense. I mean, this is connect the dots, guys. It's as simple as that. I mean, the square block goes in the square hole with Sam as Firefly at this point. It's and everything else goes in the square hole too, by the way. Everything.
And the reason that she is considered a stowaway, but still somehow managed to get past the reception desk, is because when they handed out an invite, they gave it to Sam specifically. And since the family didn't know that anybody was piloting that robot, they had no record of Firefly ever existing, and thereby did not address an invitation to her specifically. However, seeing as they could still invite a friend, but didn't want to reveal Firefly's secret, they opted to hiding away Firefly inside of Sam's armor and giving the invitation to Silverwolf. And this idea would not only explain why Firefly was able to travel across half the universe despite being...
Actually, I never really thought of that. It could very well have been that Silverwolf was the one from the Starland Hunters that was invited to Pentaconi. That's why she's there. Because, yeah, they never mentioned Silverwolf as a stowaway. Interesting.
Being sick, but would also explain why she's considered a stowaway but managed to get past security. Also, a bit of a weird choice in words using stowaway. It's not an uncommon word by any stretch of the imagination, but usually when you say stowaway, you're referencing something that's hidden within something else. And calling Firefly a stowaway would absolutely fit that description if she was inside of Sam. And while this next bit is nowhere near as concrete, there is some softcore evidence. We are currently in version 2.0. We have barely gotten the chance to get to know Firefly, and this story is allegedly gonna stretch until 2.4. On the roof scene with her, Firefly mentioned a whole bunch of things that would be absolutely irrelevant in the event that she does stay dead. And unlike the Ting Yun situation, where the entirety of the Luofu was awful writing and her death happened at the end, Firefly is in a different boat altogether. It would not make sense for that scene to happen.
Alright, I'm going to defend the Luofu a little bit. I don't think that it was awful writing. I think that it was delayed writing. And what I mean by that is that it is clear we're not done with any of the stories in the Luofu. Not a single one of them concluded. Outside of the continuance. Outside of the Foxian continuance and the hustle and bustle. Outside of that, not a single story concluded. We have no idea what's going on with Jing Liu. We have no idea what's going on with Lolcha. We have no idea what's going on with Ting Yun. Blade is still hunting Dan Heng. But for right now, it's on pause because Elio's script says that Dan Heng needs to be alive for whatever reason. But those arcs are all still going on. So I think the reason that a lot of people didn't like the Luofu, and I was supposed to make a video on this a while ago, but like, it is what it is. Oh, also, my last video, by the way, look, this is the Astral Express badge, the nameless badge. Misha has one of these, but it's purple attached to his collar. Misha has an Astral Express badge that nobody in the story, even the Trailblazer, has picked up on. He has one. Probably from his grandpa. It's probably his grandpa's, because he mentions his grandpa was a nameless. It's probably his grandpa's. But, regardless. Yeah. So, I don't think that the writing was necessarily bad for the Luofu. I think that it was delayed. And it's done intentionally to keep things in the air for when we return to them. Because we're not done with the Xianzhou Alliance. I mean, we've already had characters, the Arbiter General for the Yao Xin was leaked. Like, the character model for him was leaked. So, like, or at least his name. So, we're not done with the Xianzhou Alliance. We're not done with any of those stories. And the reason that a lot of people didn't like the writing there is because it's purposefully written in a way to drag out the conflicts and stories going on there. So yeah, a lot of it doesn't make sense right now, and a lot of it's really freaking annoying. But it's not necessarily bad. I don't think it's bad necessarily, because Ting Yun's not dead. Jing Yuan is still trying to figure out where Fantilia is, because she's alive. And she said, oh, well, I mean, I'm not done with the Luofu. So, like, you have Jing Yuan, Fantilia, plot threads still alive. Ting Yun and Yukong still out there, right? You got Bailu, who's... Everyone else knows that Bailu is Bai Heng, except for her and Dan Heng. So, I mean, that's just another plot thread that's out there. Whether or not Honkai Star Rail ever, like, finishes that, I don't know. If you go by Genshin, they never will, and they'll just leave that as a fan thing, which I think is a horrible mistake. Just like where they tell you about the Archon War instead of showing you. Horrible. I think if HSR does the same thing with all these plot threads, I think Solo's right, and it is a terrible story. Absolutely horrible writing. But I'm looking at an optimist viewpoint, and he's looking at a pessimistic viewpoint. I don't blame him. But yeah, I don't think that Xianzhou storytelling is bad. I think, well, you could call it bad. It's stalling. That's what it is. The entirety of the Xianzhou was Honkai Star Rail dev team stalling like Tectone. Yeah, no, all those stories are still up in the air. We're not done with any of them, and they're going to continue. And that's why the ending, quote unquote, ending of the Law Fu, and like once we left, everything wrapped up, quote unquote, was annoying to a lot of people because none of them actually wrapped up.
The way that it did,
if that makes sense. If that makes sense to you guys. None of the stories are wrapped up. That's why people are upset with the Xianzhou storytelling. Because you edged us.
Firefly does in fact remain dead. And with that, I bring myself to the biggest pain in the neck for this theory, and that is Firefly is dead. At least we think that she is dead. I personally do not think that Firefly is actually deceased, and I do believe we're gonna see her again at some point in the story. So for those who don't know, I'm gonna call this thing the Reaper, not the meme, because I think that's stupid. Towards the tail end of the 2.0 quest line, Firefly gets brutally impaled by the Reaper, and in this moment, she is assumed dead, because unlike dying through any other means inside of the dream world, when you get killed by the Reaper, you have a spiritual death in real life. However, this scene is very weird, because I can't help but wonder why the Reaper, now of all times, decided to kill one person and immediately run away. That entire interaction in of itself is immediately suspicious, but keen-eye players would have noticed something else. Shortly after getting impaled, when her body starts to fade away, we watch a golden spark slowly ascend upwards and off camera. And then, a few scenes later, Acheron takes the golden flame in her hand and sends it...
Oh, shit. I didn't even notice that.
...back to the waking world. Currently, it is not known whether or not this actually did it.
Bro. Bro. Oh my god, and the chain...
anything. However, maybe through Acheron's intervention, Firefly could have been spared. Now, all of this said, it does bring up another question entirely, and that is, how in the fuck did Sam manage to get there so fast? Even as...
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair, man.
Assuming if the Trailblazer, Acheron, and Black Swan stayed behind to mourn for a little while, the fact that Firefly was stabbed in the chest and moments later Sam was going on a rampage throughout the facility doesn't quite make sense. Into that, I would like to pose the second part of my idea, and that is Sam and Firefly are individual entities, but they can work together if they want to. Think of...
Yep. No, he's right. He's right. And I don't know if he'll say this again, but I'm going to say it before he does. I think, and I've made my theory known, I think that, like he said, Firefly is asleep inside the armor. Yeah, I do. I think Firefly is asleep inside the armor, and the armor is keeping her alive. And that it's similar to, like, Master Chief and Cortana. Where, like, Master Chief, John, is the one wearing the suit, but Cortana can control aspects of it. It's the same thing. And that way, that allows Sam to enter the dreamscape separately from Firefly. Because they're both separate entities.
Think of this like a sort of Eddie Brock and Venom kind of relationship.
Yes,
on paper,
symbiotic.
They can both act independently of one another. However, one person is at a severe disadvantage unless they have a host. In Firefly's case, she's Venom and Eddie Brock is Sam. So in theory, even if Firefly does go down, Sam is still capable of engaging in combat without her support. And one thing that you'll notice about that boss fight with Sam is that at literally no point in the fight does he ever activate those wings that we see him have in the trailer. Now, this could have been a creative decision on behalf of the art designers. However, a creative decision has to have some sort of meaning behind it. And I will argue that the meaning behind it in this case scenario is that Firefly is not piloting that mech. That is Sam acting on his own accord, doing things his own way. And if he's successful...
yes, that is Mecha, quote unquote. Not Sam.
Successful or not is entirely on him. Now, with all that being said, it wouldn't quite explain why Sam suddenly decided to up and abandon Firefly, but I'm going to argue that that death was entirely staged. The Stellaron Hunters are no strangers to playing a different role if it helps them achieve their goals.
Yes, and again, like I said in my last video, I think that the original plan was for Sam to, and again, Elio is also known for keeping aspects of his script from Stellaron Hunters. I mean, we see this countless times with Kafka talking to Silverwolf and mentions of Elio. We're like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't know this. Or like, Elio didn't tell me that. Or like, so Elio is known for keeping things like redacted in his own script from people that he doesn't want to know. So it's entirely possible that Firefly and Sam have different scripts from Elio. Entirely 100% possible. And I think that it wasn't Sam leaving Firefly for bait to get killed by the meme, but Sam Mecha was trying to leave us as bait to get killed by the meme and to protect Firefly. That's why he left her locked in the room. That's why she escaped from the room, because when we see her in the lobby, she says all the time, oh, well, now I can try again. Now I can try again. Because the last time she tried to stop Sam from killing us, she got locked in the room. So now she can try again. And she hopes she's not too late. Because she's looking around frantically. Whoa, 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 whoa! And then she sees us and she's relieved. She's uber calm. She's like, thank God I didn't get here too late. And then actually, if after, like right after Firefly gets killed, if you go over to the check-in counter and you investigate it, it says, because I know a lot of people are like, well, why did the meme ignore us? It says that the check-in counter has the power to hide people from the meme, from memes, from memetic entities. So that is why the meme ignores us or doesn't see us at all, because the only person it sees is Firefly. And this is corroborated simply by the fact that Black Swan says it just kills anyone. Anyone and everyone. And then, I don't know why it leaves. That's kind of weird, but we've also never seen it kill something directly, so who knows? Maybe once it kills something, it just pieces out. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Kafka and Blade both, on multiple occasions, let themselves get arrested just so they could escape. And in the sense of something that hits closer to home, Silverwolf once acted like a hologram of herself for upwards of 2 hours just so she could try and outsmart Herta. So with all of that being said, do you really think Sam is going to be the only person in the Stellaron Hunters who isn't opposed to playing some sort of trick? Also, let me ask you this, isn't it a bit weird to you that Sam was going on a murderous rampage and killing anything that moved, but only decided to stop when he saw the Trailblazer? This is the same guy who just cleared out entire corridors of trash mobs with no mercy, yet for some reason when he sees you, the sentiment changed. It's almost like there was somebody in that moment who didn't want you to get hurt, and there were only two characters who that could be who had a relationship with Sam. And those two characters are Elio and Firefly. Elio has a grand plan where the script cannot be deviated. The Trailblazer is also extremely important in that plan, but that doesn't seem likely. What seems far more likely is that Firefly likes the Trailblazer and therefore doesn't want to see them get hurt. But if this was the case, then why in the world would Sam suddenly listen to her on this after sending her to die? So now we don't only have one, but two reasons as to why Sam wouldn't want to kill Firefly. And this just brings the actions that we saw a little bit before into question, because as we know on Penacony, you cannot trust anybody. So if Firefly dying both hinders Sam and goes against his best wishes, what reason would he have of doing it? And I think that the reason he did this was so that he could get closer to the Watchmaker's legacy. Now this is the part where it stops being as concrete and gets a lot more confusing, because as it stands, we only have roughly a fourth of the entire puzzle. But I believe that Robin and Firefly are very heavily connected to each other, and if something happens to Firefly, then something happens to Robin. And I believe that the Stellar
Interesting.
Hunters knew this.
could see that. I could see that. Because, I mean, she's injured in the same spot. She's injured in the same spot. Huh. I can't disprove it, but I also... I mean, there's more evidence to prove they have a connection than there is to prove they don't. So, yeah. Cook, man.
This, and by using Elio's guidance, they managed to guide the events in such a way that Acheron was in the very same place at the very same time of Firefly being quote-unquote killed. Now this is where it starts to get confusing. Thanks to Acheron being there in the moment, she was able to prevent Firefly from dying indefinitely. But since the circumstances was so strange and Robin was nowhere in sight, her soul was never sent back, hence why she's still hurt. And now that Robin's out of the count, the Stellaron Hunters have the ability to secure the Watchmaker's legacy. Now, if this all sounds convoluted, impossible, and overly complex, just so we are all very clear, we are talking about the Stellaron Hunters. The people who see the future and all actions that can influence it. This
True.
is
Very true.
not out of the question for them, and it never will be. And even if everything that I say here isn't entirely true, one thing is absolutely indisputable, and that is Firefly is Sam. With only 1/4 of the story being given to us, I am perfectly satisfied with the explanation I just provided you all. And with that, I take my leave. If you enjoyed the video...
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Again, oh no. Nah, I don't win on it. I don't win it. It's not my place. But yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Hey, good shit. Good shit. Great video. Glad you're back. Good. Give me that subscribe. There you go. Like the video. Like, comment, subscribe. He did fantastic. I'm glad he's back. Glad he's making content. And yeah, I personally think that the Robin's Firefly theory is out there. I'm not gonna lie. It's out there. It could have some relevance. Maybe. I don't know. I do not know. It could. I think it's far more likely that Misha is connected to the Watchmaker's legacy. Way more likely that Misha is connected to the Watchmaker's legacy. And it's not close. What Robin has to do with that, we'll see. Maybe Robin's the key. Maybe Robin is the key to me, because Misha's I can't stress this enough, guys. For the love of God, Misha's eyeballs, his irises are keyholes. So like maybe Firefly and Robin are like somehow the keys to that. Who knows? But yeah, he cooked. And he's absolutely right. Firefly is 150 billion% Sam. If you don't believe me, if you don't believe Solo, do your own research, I guess. I mean, it's like I said earlier in the video, this is connect the dots at this point, guys. All right. Do the good things. Have a nice day, morning, noon, night, whenever. I'm out. Peace.